gets his bag handed to him.
Thank
Wow,
you.
what a great metaphor. Yeah, how do I have Gino profit off of his way of being in the world? And then that's one topic. And then another one is how do we resolve what seem to be consistent, irreconcilable differences in I want to have a bunch of facilitators in an ecosystem of support, including many of the people in this room. And there seem to be some like different ways that they relate that I don't understand. So there's a couple.
Right. So what? Who cares? If you have a stable, you have a stable. You can have an elephant in one room and a giraffe in the other one and an ibex in another one. And your job is to make sure they all get fed and that there's some good, decent way for them to interact. They're not supposed to be trying to convince each other who's right or who's wrong. You have a very clear understanding that this is a place where you all live. You all need to get along well enough. And if you want to go to the sparring room, that's down in the basement and it's got the ropes around it and it's a little bell.
Okay, can we do that here?
I don't know.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I don't know what you're capable of doing.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Well, okay, but I guess want to immediately get Gino looped in because he's the only person who's not as deeply familiar. He's been on one and a half of them, but remotely. I want to have maybe this is like a 10-minute thing, and then I have it that Courtney and Allie and Kyle, I want to have a specific thing, and then Kate, I was going to have like open spaciousness. Yeah, Gino's clearly super brilliant, and I want to like have his like way of being bottled, and just everywhere he goes, it seems like people get more enlightened. So I'm like, how do I get Gino to get his bag?
What's that face
Got my
on
bag.
Courtney? What was that face on Courtney when you said that? I need to know about that.
You sure you want to know, Kate?
Yeah. I definitely do.
It's just amazing to me how
Blank your screen, Courtney. You're losing it. Blank your screen, go away, collect yourself.
okay.
I don't, how do you mean bottle?
Like his way of being is like incredibly permeable and I think very upstream of like presence and people not being constantly low level triggered throughout much of their life. And I want to make it easier for more people to connect with that. And he's had this beautiful like whole framework and like way of being and like model that he can go through the world like with a bunch of facilitators and like heal people and mass.
Yeah, but he's never going to get in a ring with anybody.
He does it all the time. He was in a ring a bunch of times today. People are like trying to like jostle him and be like, oh yeah, how about this? And then like poke him all these places and he just like throws it back in their face and it's great.
So does he actually return it with the violence that it's directed at him? Or does he soft hand it? Do you soft hand it?
I don't experience soft handing things.
What happened to
like
Courtney?
Universal taps.
I feel like there's a missing link here with Courtney being gone.
She is gone. She's trying to do something, and as one of her advisors, she's trying to do something, and I'm supposed to, when she gets close to fucking it up, I'm supposed to say, back off. Try again. And you don't get to know what it is. What?
It's a beautiful relationship. There's like a certain form of like respect that I make up that you guys have to have that type of dynamic.
No, I just beat her if she doesn't listen to me.
But like, you don't physically mean like, it's not actually like
Facebook.
I can say beat on Facebook. She's an adult.
Okay.
Just want to make clear for the algorithms, it's metaphorical beating.
Says you. You don't know Courtney very well then.
Hello.
It's for the algorithms.
You gonna try again?
Try again. The way that Alton is pushes my buttons in such a way that this little girl that is inside of me, that has been here for a very long time, she goes into a complete rage, usually when Alton speaks about anything. And so I find it just extremely amusing to be in relationship with him, because it's a constant practice to put that kiddo, just to take her out of the driver's seat completely and say, I choose a different way. I choose to be in relationship with what is right here and to make a different story. She doesn't have the right to be here anymore. And it is an extreme experience to not
look at Kate right now. Now, don't ask her what's going on, but that's what you want to see. All right. Look at the other four. I don't know how big your screen is. But...
I jump in.
Yeah. You just did.
So what does Alton represent to you?
Don't do it. That's my business.
Okay.
That's between me and a little girl.
Wait, just to be clear,
You're narrating what Courtney is saying to herself.
Yep.
What do you want Courtney to be saying
There's
to herself?
what she should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is me trying to get Courtney to do a top spin forehand. She doesn't know how to do one. And she just wants to do, when he asks that question, you can see that little girl is in the driver's seat. And she wants to she has a whole freaking list of things about somebody in Courtney's past that she's projecting onto Alton.
We're trying to find that and then see where you feel it in the body and everything. And then
that's another school. When she's dancing with Alton, her choice in this moment, she may, when she meets him again, beat the shit out of him, maybe. But in this moment, she's trying to practice something else.
He's wonderful in person if you haven't spent time together. Oh, well. Sorry about that.
Oh, my.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. Is the bathroom? Great.
Gino, come back. We're going to talk about you soon.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Allie was going to help him.
Who's the restroom?
That'd be fun.
Could be. Nicely done, Courtney. Nicely done.
Alton, how much time have you and Courtney spent together?
What was the? Yes, oh, so here's the container. It's like maybe a week, 5 days, maybe it was 2 weeks.
Total? More than that.
It's probably like about 6 weeks total by now.
Oh, right. Well, and then she also lived here. That's right.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she's seen you in
I
person.
can't say we
Yeah.
really interacted much or at all, to be honest, while she was living here. Because I really think about it.
Or the other two. So Craig's in Florida and then Courtney's in, is she around here or?
Maine?
Portland, Oregon. I'm Portland, Maine.
And then Kate is in, is that Kate, right?
That's good. She's in Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico.
Oh, great. In San Juan or?
Close. Close by.
It's been one of the earliest people.
You want a brownie point, Courtney?
Sure.
I used to have those explosive things about 3 times as bad as you do.
Oh.
Hey, get ready to hit that space bar. Do you feel different inside, Courtney?
Yeah. For moments. Yeah.
Can I try another thing?
Why are you asking for permission? You're a grown man, for God's
I'm
sake.
a guest.
It's like I would say, to give the clear context, it's like a free for all. I'll bring out the details.
All right.
It is
So, Courtney, her name is? So
Yes.
Courtney, you seem to be in a room right now. There seems to be like an opening to your right, I guess. It's all blurred. And so kind of there's where you're at kind of physically, and then there's whatever's going on in your head. And so can you tell the difference between what's going on in your head and your physical surroundings?
What the fuck are you talking about, Gina?
You seem to be in a
Okay,
right now.
so look at Kate also. While he's talking, you can see Kate. Okay? Doing a thing very similar to yours, Courtney.
Kate,
Right.
thank God you're here.
Kate, have you been talked to like that by a masculine before?
I have.
And do you enjoy it?
Makes me curious.
Oh, you're being polite. See,
Mhm.
she's got polite going.
I'm being genuine. It makes me curious. I'm at, there's a step 1, but that's surface. So that could be how he presents. Now, what is he going to say next? Like
So
show me
as-
what you got.
As his speech pattern splashes on you, what does your belly and the top of your pelvis say or do or?
You're talking to me or Courtney?
Sorry, Kate, yes.
Oh, me. I am listening. I'm listening for what Gina was going to say next.
You're not answering the question.
My pelvis is still. I am listening.
Exactly.
A feminine with a still pelvis. There you go. That's...
Hey. It's I like to give every opportunity possible to listen to what someone actually means. And it doesn't necessarily come off on the first go.
So
Generous.
you do know that you're saying a whole bunch of stuff without saying something, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I might be too generous. I don't know.
I don't know if you're too generous.
My life.
Yes. If you have to interact with that kind of verbal mechanics, and it's important to you to keep your relationship with the people who are delivering those verbal mechanics, the poise that you're offering sounds very reasonable. I bet you it doesn't get you any good tango lessons or
look at my
tango.
hands.
Yeah.
I'm going like this with my hands.
Yeah.
Like all down here. It's like, so, yeah, I also knows I'm a people pleaser. I don't like to insult anyone, but I have my
That's your
inner,
pathology.
yeah.
So
Or whatever.
So my story about you is I want you to stop dancing with the sniper scope and start dancing with short knives. But that's probably not a thing that you would want to do on a Facebook stream.
I don't know. I could try it. But
Yeah, Courtney. Courtney loves short blades. So,
for Gino hasn't even been able to get past like square one.
okay, Gina, I am going to shut up for, let me find my little machine here. You have 5 minutes, Gina.
Generous.
Hi, Gino.
Hi. How's Alton right now, or is it now on me? Is this pass the bucket thing or whatever? Or
This is all about you right now.
okay. So my point around the surroundings and kind of this mental space is that if you bring yourself here, everything's fine. And so whatever's triggering you, you know, I don't know, whatever it was that
What are you saying?
so my comments earlier were in regards to you and the trigger with Alton and I don't know, the screen going off and everything.
I hear you, but what are you saying now? I don't know what you're saying right now.
Well, so arguably kind of at the core of your being is the right here, right now, it's good to be alive experience. And if you can discern the difference between what's physically around you and whatever's happening in this mental space, and if you just bring yourself here, everything's fine. And the natural state's joy. And so then the question is, what is it that takes you out of your own kind of innate joy?
Gino, would you prefer if I was in joy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll put joy on for you then.
Brittany, are you projecting joy or are you feeling joy?
The beautiful thing about being a human is I can feel whatever I want to feel when I want to feel it.
Fuck yeah.
So I have this gorgeous candle with me. And I love this candle. This candle has been with me for every client I've worked with for the year 2023. And I light it and it makes me feel so grateful for the work that I do and all the people I get to touch. So in that, I feel a lot of joy.
And so what's up with the earlier Alton situation? Is that what you wanted to feel or the trigger or whatever? And then I don't know.
You know, it's like when you're driving down the road and you're in a rush to get somewhere and someone pulls out in front of you really fast and it forces you to slam on your brakes and your thighs swell with adrenaline. You know that feeling? That's what it's like interacting with Alton. And so that's fine. It's a physiological, things are happening inside of me and I don't have to respond to it. I notice it, move on.
With that, but I guess part of it is looking at what is it about that creates the trigger, because you're not, you know, I know you're using it metaphorically, but then, you know, you could ask, why are you in a rush and what's going on in your head? So your physiological state seems to be somewhere where it's kind of triggering you to you're in an elevated state, and then arguably the car showing up for you is maybe a cautionary thing, or there's a metaphysics associated with it as well.
I absolutely agree with you that being in relationship with Alton is a cautionary thing. Yes.
Beautiful.
I seem to get along with him.
Yes. Ooh, gotta go.
Yeah. You're so sweet.
Thank you.
Being with your friends and yeah, being present with him.
It's good to be alive.
That it is. that it is. I can agree with that in this moment. You know, arguably everybody has a transformational experience with that, a transitory experience with that at any moment. But hopefully we all get back to that.
Well, ideally live from it, no?
Yeah.
Cray,
We're with
is-
the Soma.
Oh.
We're with the Soma drinkers. Yes, we are.
Your reality isn't necessarily relevant to the next person, though. It doesn't necessarily trump
Has it been 5 minutes?
their experience.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. Cray, do something.
It's not. So again, from my perspective, you didn't line them up right, Alton. Gino has a particular monoculture. Okay.
Sorry?
And a monoculture, a way of creating values. And for him, love, happiness, love, all of his value positives are things that he wants to bring into his life. And so when he deviates from that, he's like, oh, what do I need to do to get back to there? There are other people, other monocultures, other human ways of being who are like, this is just one part of being human. There's a whole bunch of other things that I'd like to play with. And if I'm only playing in this place, then there's a lot of things I can't do. So I need to be able to get into this or that or this or that so that I can have different kinds of experiences.
No, the argument there, I disagree a bit. And so the reason why I asked what Alton represented, well, to Courtney while she was here, I don't know if she's still listening. Does she still
She's listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that he represents something like Cray, you pointed out, from her past, and it's basically a reverberation of a past trauma. And so once you have that, you have a link to whatever caused that before, and she can kind of reveal that. Where do you feel it in the body and all this other stuff? And then with true forgiveness or release work, she maybe then can gradually, once that's sorted better, she'll be able to kind of hold that a lot better. Or if she can do the inner work, reconnect to the innate joy of being. And then the question is, what is it that takes her out? And she's got a good indicator for that because she's kind of popping out. And so I'm just kind of, given the situation, trying to
And
come up with a different way of resolving
Gino.
her
in my
matter.
monoculture, there's nothing to solve. There's nothing to heal.
Yeah.
It's a recording. Her trauma is a recording in her head,
Yeah.
in her neurology, and she can either pay attention to it or she can not. It comes down to the ability to be with your triggers and not let them take you over, not to let the amygdala hijack you. Now, you can do it through prolonged exposure therapy, whatever you want, but ultimately that's what it comes down to. And so
But
for
just
me, yes.
But just by kind of suppressing it or looking out of their way, it'll just project onto the next person, though, wouldn't it?
Who cares? If she can look at Alton and have that little girl scream, let's just say, for example, that little girl screaming that, oh my God, he's doing exactly what daddy used to do. And she's like, this is not about denial. This is about hearing the little girl, hearing everything that's happening. Hearing why that little girl had to put that away when she was a kid, because it was too dangerous for some reason. And so Courtney, is dealing with that herself. She's building muscle so that the little girl doesn't have to hold the container when she's interacting with Alton.
Yeah, I think we call that daddy issues, right?
I don't know what the issues are. Yeah. Go away, hit the space bar.
Let him simplify. Let him simplify and belittle. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
See? Now that,
Gino, you're enjoyable. You're enjoyable, but only to a point. And I'd like to ask you what your most difficult experience in life has been up to now.
I'm still married, and we've raised 4 kids.
That's your most difficult experience?
Yeah.
Is being married and raising 4 kids?
breathe, Kate.
Would you
Breathe,
like
Kate.
to share me more details?
No.
Losing
Why,
it.
Kate? Why? Why? Now you've got him in the corner, okay? And you're going to beat the shit out of him.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I am backing away. but I would
Yes.
love to hear more details of
Why?
that very general space.
Why? Why?
Again,
You're
I like to
setting him up to take him down.
I like to give people a chance to say what they mean. What does that mean? That's the
No,
most
no,
difficult
you-
experience.
Yeah, and you know that he's going to put up something that you're going to think is full of crap, and then you're going to pound the shit out of that.
No,
Right? Yeah.
no, I'm not. I'm genuinely curious. What
Why?
makes him being married with 4 children still makes him
Why?
that's the most difficult experience in his life, because it feels
Why?
like a massive oversimplification.
Yes, so
Massive.
who cares? He's Trump being Trump. He's Gino being Gino.
Ah,
Who cares?
the bypass situation doesn't.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, the bypassing. Yes. Yes, exactly. Now,
Okay.
I would appreciate if I dance with you, I want the claws out and buried in my flesh. Okay. Rather than you talking about la 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 la. And so for me, what you're doing with Gino is you're setting him up so that you can feel the claws. Now, he may not feel them.
Okay.
It's like, why do you care? Why do you care what a little kid is saying? I want to be the Cowboys and Indians. And you're like, why?
I
Why?
like to give people opportunity
To what? To prove
To
out how idiotic they are?
to rethink their reality and what they're
Oh.
actually stating, because I appreciate it when I'm given more opportunity. I need to rethink my reality sometimes and think, okay, what am I actually projecting right now? Is that really how I want to be seen? Is that really what I want to say? I love it when people give me a second chance. And so in this moment, I feel like I'm giving him a second chance to be like, let me consider what I'm saying, if that's really what I mean.
You're calling him a liar.
So what?
It sounds like you're calling him a liar.
I'm just giving him an opportunity
I
to
dare you,
double
Kate.
check.
I dare you, Kate.
No, what is he lying about? He just gave me a very surface statement. I'm like,
That's the lie.
what's the detail?
Yeah.
The blanket statement. It might be true. It might be blanket true, but there's details in there that are like, oh, okay, what's actually the thing in there? Like, do you actually have something?
Gino, I want you to tell me some stories so that I believe that that is. Or you're going to tell me some stories and I'm going to say, aha, that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just dance.
Welcome back, Gino.
Thank you. So are we gonna try again? You're gonna beat the shit out of me?
Oh. I don't know if this person is ready.
Yeah, see, now that, how in the hell are feminists supposed to deal with that? He's being very sincere. He is in his monoculture. There is not a word coming out of his mouth, from my point of view, that he thinks he's lying or that he's shading, or he's giving the best that he can give. Now, you and Courtney are looking at him, in my opinion, and saying, we don't want sherbet. And he said,
What do you want?
Saying ice cream.
Great metaphor.
What do you want?
Ice cream. What do you want? I don't understand.
I'd like for you to share with me more detail about what you mean.
God. Jesus. Okay. I gotta put my timer on.
Your marriage and your 4 kids being the most difficult challenge you've met.
Okay, well, what's the longest relationship you've been
in? 7 years.
So we just did 25.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened at the end of the 7?
We're separating right now.
Sorry to hear. But what's the I guess there was a point where the 2 of you loved each other.
We still love each other very much, actually.
But I guess what are you looking for that's not him, or what is he looking for that's not you?
I so appreciate this approach to my inquiry, but I'd like to continue with asking the questions that I'm posing to you. And I'm not avoiding, I'm happy to answer these questions, but I'd like to keep it framed on what I'm inquiring with you, because I feel like you're trying to draw your answer out through me. So why don't you just answer it directly?
Well, through relationships, and especially with a love relationship, and then kids like are a whole nother matter. There are serious ups and downs, and part of what the Courtney thing is to be able to hold the space and not get triggered, which I think is what part of this exercise is about too. And you could do this by kind of suppressing or just not looking at thing, or you can kind of look at it, realize its relation, where it comes from, and then kind of try to bring forgiveness to be able to hold the space and to have that feeling between people that creates the thing that keeps them together and maintain that. It's like a flame, you both can tell when the flame kind of goes out, and when it's out, the group, especially when you have kids that don't know what they're just kind of acting, and they're developing in themselves to be able to hold that space and to keep the flame alive in a relationship. And usually when it dies, you try, and it's wound touching wound, it's conflict, it's all of this stuff that then leads to separation.
Kate, what part of Gino do you want to be tasting right now?
So Gino, would you say that maybe Courtney's wound is touching your wound with holding the space for your kids?
Say that again?
Would you say that maybe Courtney's wound, or what's happening for her right now, is touching the wound that is you being able to hold space for your kids within the context of your marriage staying together?
No, I'm pretty clear with that. But, my bringing it up is because I think part of what we're talking about too with Courtney was an example of how difficult it is to be in a relationship together and to have it last for 25 years and to raise 4 kids and to have a relationship with them too, even though they're saying, fuck you, daddy, I give you your sperm back, I owe you nothing. Shit. To have a child that you've raised to, usually it happens around the age of 15 or 16, to have that happen and to know that the turtle will eventually swim back to the shores and lay the eggs, and to be able to have that and see the big picture of their happiness and their growth, that's a difficult thing to do. And the reason I'm bringing it up with you for the 7 years and comparing it to 25 and raising kids is that there's a depth there, and it's not easy, as Cray pointed out, but it's
Be careful, Courtney. You got the smile on your face.
Okay.
And you got the bedroom eyes going. Be real.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Okay.
Where is it?
Let me summarize it too. So when we got married,
Blank your screen.
like whack-a-mole or no, this is what we do. No, this is the caravan. So
Go ahead, Gino.
so when we got married, I wrote a song for her, and the first verse of the lyric goes, "When I first laid eyes on you, I already knew that you were my destiny. My mission since then has primarily been to make you feel the same for me. And now that we'll be together for the rest of eternity, I'd like to share a few thoughts, if I could, with my sweet bride Lily." That's kind of the first verse of the song. But this whole, I kind of knew, she didn't quite know. And it's been 25 years. And it's still the same journey of trying to keep the flame alive.
So
So first of all, it's a different monoculture. His mythologies, the values that he has, the things that he thinks are of high importance may or may not align with what you think about relationships. He speaks as if it applies to all relationships. All marriages should be 25 years long. Everybody should be each other's destiny. Romance. Okay. And that's fine. That's fine. Just be clear. You're not here to debate whether or not he's right or not.
Everyone's allowed their opinions and perspective.
What does that mean? Allowed? By who? Everybody has their own opinions. End of story. There's no allowance.
And that reality that's propping up their opinion relates to all of their past experiences, and the implementation is the nervous system, generally speaking, and the physiology.
Yeah. And they're breathing and they'll shit eventually.
And if I ask you to breathe deeply from your belly, and when you're present, you can be aware of your breath, and your breath is correlated to your emotional state. And so if you're constantly aware of your breath, what is it that's changing that? And are you aware of the stimuli that's creating that? So we actually have a lab. We use video games and interactive media. You can create a stimuli, but then by seeing how the person responds and how the physiology responds, you can also observe what may be going on with them.
It's great. He is pointing to a place to get to in his monoculture. Breath, equanimity, the joy, the ground of being, whatever it is. He's pointing to those things, and he's saying from his monoculture, these are the high value places to get to. And so when he's talking to you about what he's talking about, he's talking to you from his monoculture. Okay. Now, for a lot of people, his stuff lands really well. And some people it doesn't. And that's okay. It's just like you're not here to debate which monoculture is correct. You're here to dance.
And the dance, I think right now where we're at with Kate, I believe, is the challenges of maintaining a relationship. And the most difficult thing we were talking about of being married for 25 years and what the challenges are for that.
There are plenty of people that have been married for 25 years that haven't broken a sweat at all. They're doing what their culture tells them to do. You stay married. The Catholic Church says you stay married until death. It's not hard. You're doing what you're told to do. So just because you have a long marriage doesn't mean it's been all fun and games or that it was, quote, the right thing to do.
Yeah, but arguably what a relationship is, a true relationship is, it provides context.
Okay, just be careful when their monoculture throws out true relationship. Okay, that's something that's very important in their monoculture. What a true relationship is. I don't know what a fake relationship is, but he has a thing.
It provides context for self-exploration, which is what this, I think what these
all relationships do that.
Thank you, Gino, for giving us all context within the space that you have created for us in your reality. I really appreciate that you shared what the challenge has been for you in this 25 years. And the reason why I asked you about that is because while I understand that's very important to you, you've gone through a lot of, like you said, ups and downs. There's a lot of differentiation in the baseline of the sine wave as you're going through a marriage and handling your kids, or giving you the giant middle fingers saying, fuck you, take your sperm back. I don't want any part of you in me. I'm sure that's incredibly emotional. I don't want to assume that, but from how you shared it, seems like that is actually a very moving piece of your reality right now. The reason why I asked you about that was just in considering not knowing anything about Courtney and what her most triggering or traumatizing experiences, what her most challenging experiences have been, and how those have created her reality around whatever she's experiencing, like right now here with us. So I would just invite you to consider some of that before you offer
Consider what?
Consider somebody else's reality before you offer them a blanket statement about how to fix their reality and what they're experiencing.
Okay, thank you.
That wholesale experience doesn't mean shit to most people, particularly when you're coming into a space where you know nobody. Well, you don't know Courtney, you don't know me, and you don't know Cray in this space, and you're just offering your ideology around that. Like,
What's her, Kate?
I
again? Sorry.
appreciate humility, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so
Okay.
what I wish is that
Apologies.
you would come in with some
Yeah.
humility when you talk to Courtney. Because it really
Okay.
fucking bothers me when people come in with an answer where they're like, take this, Courtney, take this pill and fucking fix yourself. And that's what I heard you actually share with Courtney, whether that's your reality or not. And it fucking pissed me off.
Sorry. I'll be more careful next time. When I do this in family, and this is where you learn things from families, one of my sons will say, in relation to my daughter, that you've cut the red wire again. Dad, you cut the red wire again. And so that's kind of this trigger thing. And so family and good relationship, helps reveal that. And I apologize.
It's a good metaphor.
Kate, were you practicing anger or like?
No, I actually felt angry. My heart's beating pretty fast.
Well, it was a beautiful practice in my own.
Thanks, Kyle.
Is that laughter hiding the desire to stick a knife in him?
No.
Oh,
I feel like it's funny that he thought I was practicing. I don't feel like a lot of people see me angry.
I thought you were practicing.
Anger more like this.
I guess I gotta fucking practice more then, huh?
Sometimes Zoom if you're too loud, Zoom will just cut it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know that any of the audio.
Yeah.
Too abrupt.
Yeah.
Allie?
Gray, I'd like to use this call to up-level my relationships with Courtney, Kyle, and Alton. We've been collaborating on a project to create an ecosystem where facilitating in service of a client that we think we can help take to the next level of his personal growth and development. And we're experiencing some challenges in that collaboration. And I was hopeful that we could come on the call. And part of my reason for doing that is that I feel like there's certain things that basically, particularly from Kyle and Alton, my experience with them is that they essentially avoid dealing with certain things, and it takes coming on this call with you to actually be able to address dynamics that are ongoing between us. So that's part of the reason why I'm here tonight.
lead on.
I was saying this seems like a can of worms, and I'll call in 5 minutes.
Cool.
Gotta hit that space bar quicker.
Okay.
I agree. I agree with everything that you're saying. I don't know what you need. Two things. You need to know where you're shooting for,
Yeah.
and you need to have an agreement about what is so.
Yeah. I think that the lack of clarity between us really stems from, as we started this collaboration, it's unclear what our roles are in the project.
Yep.
And for example, we had an initial meeting. We decided on some action steps. Only Courtney and I actually completed the action steps. The other two members of the team did not complete the action steps. I actually went above and beyond and created completed more than the action steps, and actually submitted a proposal for a way I could see moving forwards with this client. I felt that it was very professionally done. I mean, it was a draft. It's not perfect, but it's a solid draft. I also created a spreadsheet around how I think the finances could run. And
hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to stick to your agreements, and you're going to have to let them burn.
Stick to
so-
what agreements?
Whatever, you don't get to go above and beyond.
Okay.
Your job is to keep as small as possible, because they don't have to do anything if you're on the team, because you always are going to pick up the slack, and you're always going to work the 80-hour week. And that is a shortcoming of yours.
Okay.
If the babies are actually dying, then by all means put in the 80 hours a week. But if you're trying to build a good strike team, they need to carry their weight. If they agreed to do a certain amount of work that was doable and they didn't, they're just doing their thing. So the question is how are you two showing up in such a way that they're like, oh, I don't need to do that. They can tell you whatever story they want, but their dicks aren't on the table. Their asses aren't on fire for whatever reasons. Granted, they're going to tell you a bunch of things, and their psychopathology is going to hide. So you're in a business. Part of this is being in a business, and you're saying, okay, this is what we need to do. Did you agree? Did you agree? Did you agree? Did you agree? And it's like, yeah, I did mine. I did mine. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And it's like, okay, so what are we going to do with this?
Mhm.
What are we going to do with this? There was
Well,
something very basic.
What are we gonna do with this? I'd love to
That's
hear
what you
from
get
Kyle or Alton why they didn't complete the action steps that were due on Monday. Well,
Yeah, my
It's
motto
so-
were to write it for ourselves. I didn't know that you
we had
wanted
said
to
that I thought we'd said we'd share it.
So
in
Allie,
the-
Allie,
Yeah,
you're doing the please explain to me why you fucked up. And they're going to come from the space of, well, let me tell you why I didn't fuck up. That it's very rational. So
Okay.
this goes nowhere. If he says, I thought this, you can't disagree with that. No matter what.
I mean,
you
I
see
could
written
search
down,
and find proof from the record of the meeting that we did all agree to write it in the group thread, is what I could do, but
you
I don't know,
could.
I'm not sure if that's helpful.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
And so,
I wanna take my relationship to the next level with Alton, and I'm not sure how to interact with him when I perceive that like he's just like completely kind of absconding the collaboration that we're working on part of like, and I wonder, Alton, what is a way
stop asking the idiot about how he's going to improve himself. Okay?
Okay.
He doesn't know how. If he knew how to make you happy, Allie, he would do it. All right?
Okay.
He doesn't know how. Again, standard deviations, two standard deviations. Given all things being relative, Alton is going to want to do the things that make Allie happy. Now, she's probably going into areas where he's getting his psychopathology is acting up. Selective hearing, selective memory, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he doesn't know this is going on. He's just walking around doing Alton. So if you're the adult in the room, you have to figure out how the hell am I going to work this?
Yeah, exactly.
Granted,
That's why I'm here.
Yes. And so you have to figure out what is this? Probably, I mean, from over here, you're going to have to go back to very small weights, very small steps.
Such as?
I don't know what you're doing. So instead of whatever it is you had, it looks like it for those two. Granted, we don't know what really happened. For those two, it's too much weight. So now you and Courtney have got to step back and say, okay, when it comes to action plans, okay, you two are talking because you're the ones that got it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? And so you and her are talking, and you're saying, what is it about this that has them not do it? Why are we doing it? And so you've got to come up with some reasons. You have to think of it, so then you can go talk to them about it. And depending on how high the reaction stuff is, I mean, don't forget that you guys are, I mean, this is me projecting like hell, okay? Both of you guys are very fiery, okay? Both of you guys have an extreme amount of will. And both of you have psychopathologies where that's a good thing. And so how you're going to dance with these two, you're walking into a dance hall and these are your partners. These are the ones that are assigned to you, and you need to figure out how you're going to win the competition.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're looking at Alton, and he doesn't have any legs. And it's like,
Yep.
It's a tango, for fuck's sake. What have I got to do here? So now you're not used to dancing with people who don't have legs. And Kyle's Kyle's completely asynchronous. He has no idea what a beat is. So how are you going to do that? And so it's the people who are accomplishing the goals who are looking back at the people who are not accomplishing the goals and saying, we can't shame you or logic you into having legs or knowing what a beat is. I can help get you to an orthopod. Maybe we can graft some legs on. You know? What? Be careful. So smile, the two things, Courtney, the smile, the big toothy smile, and this thing. And so now you're looking at these two people, and you have decided that they are valuable members of your team in some fashion. And you have to look at them and say, well, he's not going to be on the sprinting, but he could do bench presses. You don't need your legs to bench press. It may be that you need to pay attention to what they're good at and give them the stuff they're good at. And it doesn't matter what they say. They can come in and say, oh, I've been dancing the tango for 34 years. And it starts and they're trying to remember which foot they lead off on. And you're like, well, evidence to the contrary. They don't want to be in the Olympics, Allie.
Related to the previous conversation, that's what it's like raising kids.
Careful, Kate. He's baiting you, Kate.
I have no comment.
Well, I have no comment that I'm going to reveal. See, now that's the reason I have a little bit of grace with him. This guy, he might come across as the sensitive, new age, feely, whatever, but he's got a knife in there.
A knight. K-N-I-G-H-T.
Knife.
Oh, a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad. I thought you meant a knight.
No. Why would you ever try to fuck a can? Jesus Christ.
So great. Would it be helpful to like really lower my expectations quite a bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Here I was thinking we were professionals and people were going to show up.
Oh, for God's sakes. Really? What's the evidence that you're professionals?
Yeah, you're right. Well, there's some of it.
So, Allie, Courtney is trying to land sponsors. And I'm like, why don't you just create a product that people want to pay a lot of money for?
Okay.
And she's like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Breathe.
And why are you bringing this up right now?
Because you guys have, from my perspective, you guys have a really potentially hot thing in terms of impact. I don't know if, theoretically, if you can make impact with the right people, you can make a shit ton of money. You can buy yourself a $19.2 million house if you want. You can.
We're working on it.
Yeah, you do whatever you want. Okay. But yes, the bathroom's down the hall.
Well, this relates to, I think, the topic that Alton had, which is this entrepreneurship as a spiritual path. And so when, whether it's raising kids or trying to create a company, I just realized what this is about. If it's about creating an enterprise, I think that's the original topic of this conversation, I think. I'm just trying to throw that in. And so what's happening right now is anytime you try to do something, your subconscious is going to want to fuck with you. Oh, can we see that? That's
not really. No.
Your subconscious doesn't want you to change. And so it likes to keep things the way they are. And so part of this process is it becomes whack-a-mole, kind of like the whole Courtney disappearing thing. Because part of it is to be aware of when you're triggered and look at what's going on. And then or you can use the form, storm, norm, perform. So you get together, there's going to be a storming period. You realize, okay, we're in the storming period. We're going to have these conflicts. And then you work out boundaries, which Alton is really good at in terms of form, storm, norming.
Don't do it.
And then, good job, Courtney.
So what you're doing, Gino, is you're saying a lot of truth things, and in my experience, none of the feminines can feel your arms around them.
Yeah.
And if what you want to do is put a lot of truths out into the thing and not have them impact anybody, there you go.
Well, it'll impact whatever. If any.
Yeah, but my request is that you try to feel them in your arms. Don't have them be abstracts. Don't have them be solutions. Have them be real, live, breathing females. Don't try it with Alton or Kyle. They'll fucking shit themselves. All right. So I think you have a whole bunch of stuff, Gino. But the point is your delivery is really good for a certain type. These are 3 fiery feminines. They want to feel you as a person, as an entity, as a masculine that matches with their monoculture before they're going to let you get even the tiniest bit of the tip in. Because they've been well trained, they will nod their heads at you. And they will do the polite, deferential, oh, look, mansplaining 101 for the 182nd thousandth time.
So related to that, rather than trying to do whatever, look at objective measures, right? And so you can either do it, if it doesn't happen, walk away. If you want to play that game, or if you want to try to work together, you have to figure a way out through this together. But then part of it, like Cray was saying, is you have to look at where they're at and what their priorities are and what this means. But as you try to do this together, whether it's a relationship, a company, or anything, your subconscious is going to want to not have things go as you intend. And so part of the work for that, and this whole entrepreneurship as a spiritual path, is really exploring that. And so you have to, it's entirely up to you, but this is wonderful.
So this is where I want to shake him and bounce his head off the wall.
Okay.
He's repeating himself.
Yeah.
As if the feminines here don't already know what he's talking about and didn't hear him the first time. This is one of the basic tenets of mansplaining. They've already heard you do this whole shuck and jive once. They're highly intelligent. They remember what you said. It's not news to them. That the subconscious, that your patterns try to interfere with you if you try something new. This is old. They knew this from they were about 7 or 8. They may not have done it in that language.
But what my point behind that, in terms of the reiteration, is objective measures. Come up with measures that all of you can concretely believe. All 3 of them are going to have different perspectives, but then whether the proposal gets done or whether the funding gets in or whatever is an objective measure that will either happen or it won't. And whether it happens or not relates to them and their relationship with the universe.
Why are you repeating yourself the 3rd time? I find that fascinating. That's the 3rd time you've said that. It's not like they're practicing the pronunciation of new words in Russian.
So how do they address the situation then? They've come to you.
I
they keep
asked
solving within
them.
themselves. Right?
I don't repeat something 3 times.
Well,
I don't talk down to them.
Well, you raise your voice.
Yes, so what?
I like
hey,
that.
hey. So when I just did that, Gino, okay, when I went, hey, there's a lot of people who can say, you're using a power dynamic, you're being condescending, la la la. Look at her fucking face. Does that look like the face of somebody that's being condescended to, that's being mansplained to? I'm going, wait a minute. I'm not doing that because I get anything out of that. I'm doing that because that's what she wants me to do. She wants me to take a stand for her that she can't take for herself because she doesn't have the muscles developed yet. She's already interrupting herself 10 times more than she did 4 weeks ago.
That's the raising kids part.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant. You are relevant.
But the thing to remember, Kate, is that somewhere in him, in his monoculture, it is relevant.
Yeah.
He's making a conscious choice at some level to say the kid thing again.
I know, because it's
No, you don't know. You don't know. You have no idea.
acknowledgement of all right, maybe true, but I'm like, yeah, he's
Stop it. Don't do him. Don't do him. Stop it with your Stockholm syndrome, for God's sakes.
But I like it.
Yeah, that's what his says too. Oh, yeah.
So back to how do we move this forward, the project? And how do we resolve the differences between trying to get 3 different people trying to get something done?
I present my best opinion and I leave it up to them because as adults, they need to come up with this themselves. I can point them in the general direction, but if I give them the answer, that kills a lot of the learning. It kills a lot of their ability to say, how do they generalize from this into something else?
Which is what I guess, what's her name?
There's Allie.
Allie played into in terms of doing all of the work. You're in a classic drama triangle rescuer. And so, Cray, I think you're mindful of not playing the rescuer, which is what she did in the project. So they knew that they weren't getting done. And so she arguably this is why you get married. So this is why you get married. So when this kind of thing happens, you realize that, hey, I'm mansplaining again, right? This is the benefits of marriage.
Just do your thing. Oh, keep going.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, see, Kate, create some sort of space for yourself where you can actually dive into the emotionality about this and let the horror of that come out. You know.
Okay.
But make sure you have a safe space. And, yeah, and you're going to need a witness. No, not Jesus Christ. No,
fucking dying. Own your shit, Gino. Like fucking own it.
He
fuck Courtney right now.
Stop it. Stop it.
That's better, okay? By the way.
He doesn't know that it's shit. He thinks it's something valuable. The same way that you just thought that telling Gino to own his shit was valuable. I don't think Gino's going to take
shit, like just own what the fuck he's saying.
That's
blast past the whatever, and
it
then
doesn't work that way.
Get some fucking feedback from it. Like fucking stop. I don't know. Just like
what's your pelvis saying right now, Kate?
I'm like, don't let yourself get minced, Gino. Like if you really stand by what the fuck you're saying.
Kate, not your head. See, now right there. Same look on her face.
Closer.
Okay. What's your pelvis saying, Kate? Not your head.
The pelvis is like this.
Okay, but you use words. Let your pelvis have your throat. Let it speak.
Oh, wow. Why? Why? Why are you like this?
Yeah. So let it. Now, this is my projection. How lonely is your pelvis?
My pelvis. Lonely.
Yeah.
It feels,
Freudian stuff,
it feels lonely. It feels craving and lonely right now to be like, if I was to take this moment and be like, Gino, like for what Gino is saying, like,
Yeah, but he's not meeting you.
what's that?
He's not meeting you. He's
Right,
over
but-
there. He's got brains. He's got money. He's got children, whatever. And he is not meeting you.
I feel like you're on a fucking island, Gino. I feel like you are on an island. There's a fucking disconnect. You're on an island. That's why you can't hear me.
The topic right now, I think, is how do we get this working, right?
No, listen, stay on the island then. Go and stay on your fucking island then. Like,
Okay.
seriously. Like, stop giving us context to what is happening right now.
I'm leaving. I'll see you guys.
You're leaving now?
Is this what feminine anger
He
does?
doesn't want me here.
Drive
Hey,
people
Gino,
This
away?
is-
Gino,
Hey,
Take care.
hey.
Speaking to you. Do you want to hear what she has to say?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
you know,
Very brave of you.
In my monoculture, you don't just like not talk about something, you just talk about it directly. And I heard
what
this,
was there?
Gino,
Yes.
but I wasn't aware.
will
that
you come closer to the screen?
And it wasn't even agreement, it was like, I don't control it. And that's not a culture I would want to be with.
Will you put them behind you? We just want to see you.
Yeah, why don't you move up to the screen to this conversation?
And so I wanted to-
You
Possible.
can do Alton to the side. Mm.
A reflection.
Oh,
Just be clear about it. Like,
There it is.
what else
Yeah.
do you need now around it?
What's that
So-
necklace?
Fast forward or like an
Sorry?
understanding that maybe.
What's the necklace you're wearing?
Courtney.
Why it's appropriate to. not-
You're Courtney, come back.
not-
Okay.
When he
I'll
does
make it
that,
Hey, Alton and Allie,
Together.
would you guys mind moving back a little bit from the screen so we can stay present with the on-screen conversation if this is actually possible? I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks.
Sure.
Maybe it's all on screen. I don't know.
Oh, I get the commander. Sure.
so when he comes back, when he puts himself back in the thing,
Thank you.
give him a positive reassurance. Say something like, I would say it like, you're a good man. And he's going to say something like, I know, or thank you, whatever. But there's that little blip happening. Right? He's not leaving because he feels good.
You're saying whatever that I told you.
So using this as an example again, if you feel really bad about a project and you can sense that people are being yelled at.
Like not including.
Exactly. So for some people, it's this, other people, you just walk away. Just stand your ground in terms of what you're willing to stand your ground in terms of what you're willing to take. And if not, walk away.
Gino, I love that you came back and that you moved people aside to sit in this chair and stay.
Include him like as if I could possibly include
In
him.
my world, it's about the stay,
He didn't include himself. Like, why would I?
Oh,
the
no.
come and the stay.
You were Courtney's alumni.
Well, do you know why I left?
Yeah.
I can imagine why you
I
left.
have it. You can.
Well,
No, I can't. No, I don't.
Why would he need
I have
me?
no idea why you were leaving.
Well, it seemed like Kate was triggered, and I think the important thing was moving this project forward. And if I was gonna be part of it, I should probably
What I thought.
leave to
we
move
wanted to
the-
be in communication.
move the
So it
project forward,
It
which I
seemed
think
like
is happening
underhanded.
in parallel here.
Not clean communication. is how it-
That makes sense.
What's your pelvis saying now, Kate?
Oh.
No, I wasn't sure exactly how both of us were to go about it.
He's scared.
Psychopathology, psychopathology.
Kyle had responded to my last few messages for. Reach out.
My
I
pelvis,
didn't feel good
Hello?
to, like, share my ideas with him when he's been.
um,
and
it
that's why-
jumped a little bit.
Okay.
Thematically, it
That's how-
jumped when
that's why I
Gino was talking about like
maybe
keeping
if
things
people
on
would
task.
Respond to my things I put forward.
Mentally, that really annoys me.
Feels really good to me in connection with my
But I
team.
realized that switch tasking and like being aware, having a diffused awareness of everything happening at once is not a strong suit of everyone. I don't want to say a masculine strong suit.
I
I
was
just
saying
want to
all
say
from
it's
the
not a
beginning.
strong suit of everyone.
I mentioned that.
And
Okay,
so
you can do that.
what I want to acknowledge, Gino, is your single, single focus
I think
on
that was one of the things.
May I,
keeping what
Kate?
seems to be the context.
May I, Kate?
The context.
May I, Kate?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a fun circus.
Gino,
Yeah,
I want to tell you that my pelvis has softened towards you.
I don't know what that means, but
That's okay.
is that a good thing or?
Still haven't.
That's okay.
In a male
Kate, I think
context,
Kate-
it's a very
It's also
good
not
thing.
very-
Do you know?
Yeah, right.
So
I
wait.
Because I'm, still married.
I know, but Kate,
If
do you
that
see the
pelvis
difference?
softens, You kind of
Either name
wanna
topics
maybe
down,
leave again or something.
Put them on the shelf or find.
The difference is that you're talking about yourself instead of referencing his actions.
Bigger cans. of-
Referencing his actions is the masculine thing to do. And if you want to show up as a feminine
I trust your.
and try to dance with that, one of the things you want to do is give him the information about what's happening with you,
Hmm.
because that's the most important thing.
Hmm.
How you feel.
Now,
I feel
remember,
annoyed.
because when you, yeah, yes, that's fine. Okay. So what you're doing is you're saying my pelvis softened towards you. You're not giving him a story. You're not giving him the reasons. You're not giving him the formula.
Yeah. The other one is.
And then he's going to do something and you just dance further. If you're trying to do that one-upmanships and that one labeling thing, it's just a masculine dance. And in my opinion, he's going to leave.
I feel like I think it's worth me writing it out first now.
For you to see now, I mean, again, this is Cray projecting his ass off. Okay,
Are we writing about it?
you have men like Gino and Kyle that occupy 90% of the Western world,
The default.
right? And you're going to have to figure out how to dance with them, not in a masculine way.
Hang on for like a week. or
Because
something.
if you dance with them in a masculine way, it just
I
reinforces
just am
them.
not that urgent about it.
And it's a really slow learning.
Because it seems
Yeah.
like there's significant philosophical differences. So that's
Kind of like the taste of my last relationship, where it's just like,
very bad appetite to take on the plate right now.
it's just poisoning.
It's not cool.
My aggressiveness
Like,
just kind of poisons the waters. It doesn't like give anybody a taste of their own medicine. It just
being
like
oriented towards things or
is-
like actually practice patience or doesn't.
Your
A moot
aggressiveness,
point.
if you don't use it from a psychopathological point, is highly,
I don't really want to do
highly wonderful.
It's very important to you.
mm,
But you use it, I think you use it a lot from that hurt little kid looking to stab somebody.
Yeah, teams is challenging.
Right. Well,
Yeah, this is all.
for me, there's a marginal benefit, or specifically in this case. I think that's a bigger, longer
So-
conversation.
my experience, Gino,
Hard for me to see the benefit given the cost.
that you came
Yeah.
back,
Like cost benefit ratio, right?
like Courtney said,
Very obvious.
is really
But just not-
everything.
no.
Well, we've really put a lot of.
It also gives me an opportunity to
coming through.
soften
Yeah,
into the
so-
frustration of you leaving in the first place.
So. yeah.
And I'm gonna save the rest of everything
Mhm.
that I'd like to say
But,
right
like,
now.
Well, the reason why I left is you
Actually,
seemed very
yeah,
angry at the time.
That's the first result, like.
And if I'm gonna
How
be
did that
yelled
make you
at,
feel?
I can hear a lot of.
How did
Oh,
that
no. He threw that bait out in the water and you just went.
Yeah, pretty good.
I mean, my short answer is that I haven't, that she's.
because part of the issue is how do you
This
collaborate?
is that. Oh, that was smart.
And when you, if, for generally speaking, if you're not having fun, you know,
Though it's not very.
what's the point?
Like,
Are you a teacher?
Dad, your fingers up.
Answer.
Don't do it.
Certainly not.
Or just sit, check in with yourself, like. really-
I love you, Courtney.
Like, if
Well,
I could
I
say the
agree.
same thing about a hammer and a tile, it's true, but I know that you need one.
This one's coming together too.
Great, they're like, yeah, you do it this way, and now I'm gonna, you're doing this way. And I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
What
There'll
was
be a
that,
happy
Craig?
ending. Jerking each other off, making each other feel good.
Are you helpful right now?
That's where the objective measures are important, moving things forward.
You can see a clear path forward.
It's 4 times, I think.
Incorrigible.
That,
Yep.
But it's challenging for me to see that.
It's like when you're having sex and the woman says, "You're doing that thing again that I don't like you to do. How many times do I have to tell you don't do that?"
Clear path forward.
And he's like, "But I like doing that." Huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
But the clear path forward will end in disaster. It's not-
Oh, disaster?
Or I think that she's gonna do something her way and then having a lot of disrespect her attitude. Or space, and then ruining my reputation. Not ruining her.
So the conversation earlier was, I felt,
Because like the red
I
flags
felt
are
that
very obvious. I spoke with Josh and they do. And like, I get that.
in that last exchange, there was some sadness there that was touched on, so. Mentioned to you too.
When the relationship.
Seems like it'd be a meeting conversation with me recording.
Sure, yeah, that's part of my intention. I agree.
Just wanted to get that.
But I think that honestly, I think it's too far gone. But okay, hopefully, okay.
Listening to a party line where there are 4 conversations going on at the same time.
I was like, I just.
Just two.
Number 3.
I have an experience.
4, 5, 6.
I'm very professional.
Allie,
She's been late to maybe 80-90% of my meetings. So it's fine.
You guys want to do that on the stream? This conversation.
I'm open to it.
You're like 0.5 on the stream.
I doubt that it's picking up my voice.
It is picking up your
Oh,
voice.
it's picking up your voices, all right.
Okay, well,
Yeah, if you want to have another conversation, I would encourage you, if you don't want to mess with the integrity of your stream, is to go to another room.
Okay.
Because your microphone is way too good.
oh, okay, great. Well, I feel actually saved some time. Here we are. All right, so where are we at?
I don't know. I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
why?
think you have the
Sorry,
floor.
I
Alton.
couldn't get you at once.
Alton, would you be willing to share with Courtney some of your concerns around working with her?
Yeah. Really good friend shared with me his golden nugget from this year was when people show you who they are the first time, listen. And I'm having a really difficult time understanding how I could see a clear path forward working with you when I experience what occurs to me is like a lot of like attitude challenge things. And I make up that would be more of a reputational liability for me to dance with and like not worth the cost of, because everyone has like, you know, pros and cons and everyone has a minimum buy-in price of like.
Hey, wait a minute. The old man in the crowd has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I think it's important that I understand what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to support Allie through in our workability and Kyle and us like working together in an ecosystem, something. And I noticed that when it comes to like working something out with Courtney, I I feel challenged to imagine how my monoculture and hers will dance effectively when the stakes are, well, period.
So wait a minute. So what I hear you saying is, I don't know how me and that black person are going to get along
Mhm.
when the stakes are high, because I have an opinion about what that is over there and what
Mhm.
it's capable of doing and what it's not capable of doing, and that never meshes well with what I understand about myself. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, but from a logical stance, yeah, rhetorically, I mean, certainly that's a strong
Okay.
negative frame.
So if what you're doing is you're trying to teach people about how to get along together, about
Not
how to grow.
not really, no.
Okay.
It's a specific targeted client and a specific targeted interaction that I'm interested in supporting.
I'm fine. I don't know if you think that she's going to be a square peg in your round holes, then make the argument for it. And if the other two buy into it, boot her off the team.
Well, I mean, this was like an exploratory, tentative window where we were like, hey, let's like try this on for like, what could that be like?
What's the horrible thing that she's going to bring to you?
I mean, reputational tarnishing through showing up and
Such
agreeing
as what?
and then like not actually. Well, I mean, there are small things again that my monoculture values highly.
Wait, Alton.
Yeah.
What, like, I'm hearing kind of like a statement about the present, or like an assessment. Like, what's like the path forward, or the thing you would want to hear from Courtney?
No, wait. I still don't understand what the sticking point is. If he's saying she refuses to eat with chopsticks, and I routinely host very important meals with people, and it's important that she use chopsticks and she's not doing it, I'm like, okay, I understand that. But what you're saying is that somehow what she's doing is going to sully your reputation. I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, yeah, hanging out with non-chopstick users is definitely a reputational hit.
What are you talking about? How is she going to sully your reputation?
Well, by offering that you're going to deliver on something and they're not doing that, or like.
Okay, wait, stop. Courtney, you put a cork in it. Okay. So what you're saying is that you have had the experience of Courtney promising to deliver something that was important to you.
Yes.
And she didn't deliver it.
Yes.
So this sounds a lot like the thing that happened with you and Kyle and Allie. Allie had an understanding of what she thought you guys agreed to. And you guys didn't deliver it in the way that she understood it to be delivered.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we have, it's going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're not really clear with each other about what this is about, if Allie says 9 o'clock on Monday, East Coast time, and you don't hear that second part and you're in Pacific time, you're going to have to get clear about what these things are.
Right.
And one of the things with Courtney is like, chopsticks are important to me. I know they're not important to you, but I want you to treat them as important.
Mhm.
And if she says yes, you give her a shot. I don't know why she didn't do what you wanted her to do. I don't know.
I don't know either, and I don't care because
I know.
I don't have infinity time, and I'm fine
Right.
with that.
So now going forward, you get to put you guys all get to hold each other's characters lightly. And you all need to know what your psychopathologies are. And if you guys are going to work as a well-oiled team, you all have to know that on Sundays, Alton's a basket case. You have to know when the surf is up, Kyle is nowhere to be found. Now you can drag him in, but he's going to be such a bitch about everything that he's actually going to make you move backwards. So you just let him go surfing. You have to find out what this is about each of you. Now, granted, Courtney may not want to eat chopsticks. Does she look
Yeah,
like?
I mean, okay, it's pretty simple. I mean, I have a pretty clear standard of like what being on time means, and I've just experienced that not being the case 80% of the time.
Okay, so now Now everybody gets to sit down with you, Alton, and they get to say, Alton, we understand that you have a psychopathology about being exactly on time or 2 minutes early. We're on
Yeah.
island time here. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, okay, great, you can explain that, but I just don't, why deal with that when I don't have to deal with that?
Okay, then that's fine. Then people are going to say, okay, because Alton holds trump cards, we're going to suck his dick in the way that he wants his dick sucked. Sorry, Facebook. We're going to do everything we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do everything we can to be 5 minutes ahead of whatever things show up that involve Alton. And Alton gets to be happy. And I think that that's a reasonable thing for adult human beings to say, as a practice, no matter what, I will be there 5 minutes before any appointment with Alton. That's an exercise.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, right? But if that's not naturally born, or that's not naturally already there, and or like as you're sharing this, I'm like, yeah, this all makes sense. Courtney doesn't occur to me as a motivated buyer. She's shaking her head. She's like making.
Hey, God, you are just you. Yes, and you guys don't appear to be motivated buyers when you can't get something to Allie fucking Monday morning that took them minimal times. That you guys are letting her break her back, according to her psychopathology. She is an Olympic caliber thing. She is used to working exhausted. That you two masculines are letting her work herself to death and drain all the vital chi out of her makes you non-supporters of feminines in my eyes. If you can't see what's happening with her, and you don't have it occur to you naturally that you're like, Courtney, stop working.
Right, yeah.
You guys are not. You guys have, there's no evidence that you want to support feminines if she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't really care about whether they're feminine bodied or not. That's not that important to me.
Then what is?
I mean, they're effective at like actually coaching and actually supporting in this ecosystem.
Right. So how do you think feminines are supposed to coach and do all the things you want to do if they aren't resourced?
Well, I mean, in my world, that's totally their pathology or a misunderstanding in this case. And if they fail to see that it's just a common misunderstanding, then that's not, what kind of communication relationship is that? It was a good faith misunderstanding. It sounds like is what happened on both sides. Okay. Yep. But those are very small issues in my connection with Allie. And they don't happen that often relative to like what occurs to me is much more significant, transgressions to my monoculture.
Do you think that in all the work that Allie has done, stop it. Do you think that all the work that Allie has done to get to where she's gone, that her revealing how much stress she's under or how much pain she's under or how difficult it is for her, do you think those were high?
Do I think those were high?
They weren't. You had to hide the fact that you were suffering. You had to do synchronized swimming. Have you ever watched synchronized swimming?
I mean, great. This is great. And I'm all for sob stories, but just, I don't.
It's not a sob story. It's that you're trying to see what her psychopathology is going to be. She's not going to come up to you and say, hey, I'm burning out.
We could do that on circling time or like get to know each other time window. I'm like, cool. But like, I just.
Allie.
So don't.
I also want to name that I did invite Sophia to have this last window of time here together tonight.
Sure.
Sophia.
Is it still live stream?
Yeah.
It's still on live stream, and my intention is to wrap up.
So to me, this is Alton in reaction. Okay. So watch this. Go back, watch it again. See what he does. See what his coping skills are.
Also experience you as in reaction, but then I'm asking this question of like, what's the difference between in reaction and anger?
Yeah, I feel protective of my time. I felt like timeliness for Sophia being here. I told her specifically time. She was right here on time early enough, 2 minutes over. So that's on me. And I'm reacting against time window.
You were reactive before Sophia came in.
What? Yes, because anticipating Sophia's arrival here. She really values being on time, and I really appreciate that about her, and it's beautiful.
You have 5 people who love you dearly telling you that you're seeing a reaction. And
Wait, I'm agreeing with you. I think I'm in reaction.
See, yeah.
What's the issue here? I mean, like, so what's the issue?
Don't do it, Ally. What do you want, Sophia?
Okay, well, yeah, and Sophia requested it. Well, I'm gonna, anything else, guys? Thank you
Gonna
guys
end
for
the
the
live
live
stream?
stream.
Thank you. I don't think so.
That was really juicy to me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, enjoy your time.
Any closing
Thank
things you
you.
want to share? Okay, and so did you want everybody?
No.
I'd like to, hey, I'll be in Maine sometime, probably July, early July. If you're around, love to come by and visit.
Thanks, Gina.
All right.
I can't say no, Gina.
Great. I mean, certainly my preference is always having more people, so
Yeah.
you seem not into that.
Not right now.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Sophia.
Hi.
Do you want me here, Sophia?
Mm?
You want me here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Would you
never
like
know.
to hear Sophia?
We're leaving, right? That's the.
If
you want Yes.
to, yes.
Well,
If you want
I
to.
prefer everybody in the room all the time. I prefer broadcast from every television in the world.
But you said if we want to, I would love to stay.
I mean, Kyle, you can stay.
Like Gino. Gino has been in a relationship
Stop
for
it,
25 years.
stop
so-
it,
You
stop
can.
it.
I mean, I don't know.
Just let her have her preferences.
I just heard Sophia say that she could that she... Okay, here we are. You still would like this off live stream, is that true?
It was like never in consideration for it to be on live stream.
Yep, I said I want to consider
So-
right up until the last moment. Here's that last
No.
moment. All right.